Hi there in Hale State. Welcome to our second episode of our virtual Road Dogs tour. We're glad to have you with us. And as most of you know, COVID-19 has forced us to rethink the way that we would do anything normal, including the Road Dogs tour, which usually takes place during this time of year at cities across the state of Mississippi. In lieu of that, we're doing all of these in a virtual format now. And we're glad that all of you have taken time to join us online as we have a panel discussion for the next 45 minutes to an hour about what's been going on in the lives of our coaches, what they're continuing to do to prepare for the upcoming year, and any other myriad of topics that may pop up as we visit together today. What we do want you to know on the front end, and I'm sure this will come up many times with our coaches, we miss all of you. We want you to know that you're important to our programs, you're important to our university and our athletic department. And it's because of that that we felt compelled to find a way to spend some time with you, even in this new format. And we're all looking very forward to the day that we'll be able to spend time together again in the same venue. And I can't tell you from my standpoint how excited I am for that day to get here, whenever that may be. So just stay strong with us, stay positive in the midst of this pandemic, and know that we're all working toward that day when we can get together again and enjoy Mississippi State sports. Now, with all of that said, I'd like for you to welcome my guest today on the panel, our men's basketball coach, Ben Howland, our volleyball coach, Julie Darty Dennis. Yeah, there's a change there, and we're going to talk about that. And Darrell Greenan, who is the coach of Mississippi State's women's tennis team. I want to thank all of you for joining us. And Julie, let's start with you. There's a new last name there. Tell us about getting married and what that's been like, in addition to everything else that's been going on in the world the last few months.
Sure. No, I can assure everybody that the Darty party is not over. We're not ending that. But yeah, Brian, my husband, sounds weird still, we got married on May 23rd. That was our original date, and things kind of got mixed up and we had to postpone, but we still really wanted to get married. So we had a private ceremony over at the Chapel of Memories on campus, and our own Bracky Brett was our officiant. It was really special, and it was perfect. We got to do a little mini moon after that, but we look forward to kind of celebrating with our friends and family later this year.
You know, a lot of people may not know the name Bracky Brett. If you're from Mississippi, I'm sure you will, because Bracky coached high school football in the state for a long time, but he's our director of compliance. And you may be the first person I've talked to who, in addition to being officially married, has an NCAA compliant wedding as well. So there you go, following the rules right down to the letter, right?
There you go. There you go.
Well, congratulations to you and your husband. We're happy for you. While we've got you on the screen, let's start with what, in addition to being married, with the job piece. What's that been like for you over the course of the last 3-4 months now?
Well, we've had a lot of time to kind of slow down and be at home because we haven't been able to recruit, but I think we've had a lot of meaningful team conversations virtually through Zoom. We've gotten to know each other a lot better. I mean, no one can plan for a pandemic like this, and no one knows how you're going to respond and react to it. So I think our team is trying to make the most out of this and come back stronger than ever. My team, I think, has handled themselves in a really mature, positive way, and I'm excited to see them and be able to practice with them when we're able to do that.
Where were you at in regard to anything that might have been going on in the spring with your team when all this came to a halt?
Oh, I can tell you, I had just come back from recruiting in Orlando, and I was getting ready for a trip to Denver. We were getting ready to play a couple of scrimmages in the spring, one in Birmingham, one in Flowood, and we were full steam ahead. Our team was rolling. We were doing a lot of team building. We had this thing called Personal Growth Mondays where we were doing a lot of chemistry, cohesion off the court, and I felt like we were getting a lot of traction with that. And then we were just slated to start some tournaments and spring exhibition competition. So we were in a really good place. And then it just came to a screeching halt, and we all had to cancel flights, stay put, and our kids went on spring break and they never came back. And that's kind of where we were.
I know from doing one of these with Coach Howland not too long ago with some of our boosters that, you know, Ben, you've been wide open because you've had a signing period that's happened in the midst of all of this. and one that went very well for your team. What's it like recruiting in a pandemic? How were you able to communicate with these prospective student athletes, and how did the process maybe change with regard to signing day in all of this?
I think it's been very difficult for everybody, the student athletes, most of all, because they haven't been able to take any official visits and actually visit the physical buildings they would be in, the people they'd be working with. So everything has been done as we're doing now, virtually. And so I've become better at giving virtual tours of our facilities and our campus, and I've had a lot of help with our assistant coaches and staff in that respect. And that's been very good. Our strength coach, Colin's done a great job in those. And, we had a lot of the groundwork done by my assistant coaches in terms of kids we had identified. And, but yeah, it's been trying for sure. And something that I'm looking forward to getting back out on the road again and seeing kids play in person. And we're missing the whole summer. So this is the first summer as a coach where we haven't been out recruiting ever, and it's really different. And it makes it more difficult to evaluate when you can't see anybody play right now in person during this time when this is normally what we'd be doing coming up the month of July.
You mentioned that you can't see people play in person. In terms of the evaluation piece, when you're talking about recruiting, how much more are you watching video clips that people are sending in? How much are you having to rely on the internet more to do your recruiting in the midst of all of
Well,
this?
watching a lot more film this past spring with the kids we brought in and studying them. And I'm not into clips as much as games. Everybody can put a highlight film together. It makes them look, very attractive. But when you're actually studying games and you're seeing both ends of the floor and seeing them against different levels of competition, to me, that's key.
Darrell Greenan may win the Backdrop Award today because while three of us decided to stay in the office, Darrell decided he'd go out and get some fresh air as we did this today. And the thing I got to ask you about first, and we're going to get into tennis and everything else. You told us before we started recording today, you have chickens in the backyard. Are you a chicken farmer, Darrell?
No. My wife and daughter at one point wanted chickens, and we got chickens. So we have fresh eggs. That's the positive.
Who goes and gets the eggs in the morning?
Well, the last few months it's been me, but usually, this time I'm out and about or at work, and so yeah, I've kind of learned how to. Well, one escapes almost daily, so I usually hop on my bike and go around the block, and get track down that chicken and throw it back over the fence. So
I think about the Rocky movie. If you can catch a chicken, or whatever it is that Mickey tells Rocky when he's training, if you can catch a chicken,
yeah,
you can do it. Yeah, there you
I'm
go. So
definitely doing some of that kind of training. Yeah.
there you go, staying in shape. Your sport is unique in that you really have two seasons. You have the individual season that happens in the fall, but you were in the midst of the team season when the pandemic hit. So for people who maybe aren't as familiar with the story of your team, what happened when you found out that things all of a sudden had just come to a screeching halt?
Yeah, we were in College Station. We were, I guess, about to play our fifth SEC match of the season. We play everybody in tennis, and it was we bussed over there on a Wednesday, had a little hit, and had dinner. I got a message the next morning that everything's canceled. No SEC competition. So I talked to the girls right before lunch. I was kind of waiting further instruction. I figured we're probably just going to have to turn around and come home, which is what we did. We had lunch, and then we turned around and came home from College Station.
It's got to be tough on the athletes, and I'm sure it's tough on coaches too. But what was the reaction when you're on the road, which could be a little bit more jarring, I think, than if you were playing an event at home, and you go in and you tell your team, "Hey, we're just on hold right now." What was that like, Darrell?
It was very strange. I mean, I know everybody has a different story about how this affects them, but very strange for us. It might have been even better just because being on the road, just because we had them all together. and we could talk to them all right away. I remember I brought them down into the weight room and told them the scoop, and then immediately told them, this is a pretty serious virus, and we went straight to the hand sanitizer, and obviously we were careful coming home and everything, but yeah, it was very strange, and the girls seemed to take it well. The next day we got back on Thursday, and on Friday we had a kind of a end of the season dinner, and that was it. A lot of them, or most of my girls are international, so they had to work on flights to get home. Some of them were worried they wouldn't be able to get out of the country, and but eventually they all kind of went on their way.
Julie, what have you learned about Zoom that you did not know 4 months ago?
You can get really creative with some backgrounds. People put in some time to make sure they've got flashy, nice backgrounds. I find that to be pretty impressive. You can't feel stuff through a screen, and I'm big on relationships with my girls, and so it's been hard to kind of feel what they're feeling as we go through this, because you're behind a screen, so you can't necessarily feel what they're saying. You can hear it, but I think that that's also been good for our growth, because I felt like in some of our team meetings where we were just sharing, there's a little bit more of a layer of protection. So if anybody was feeling like they couldn't share, it almost opened up a platform where they could share more, and they were just a little bit more behind the screen. So I've enjoyed the Zoom meetings. I'm burnt out on the Zoom meetings at this point. I'm ready to get back face to face. I'm so ready for human interaction. But I would say the backgrounds were I was most intrigued with how people were invested in those backgrounds.
Coach Allen, did I hear you right earlier? You said all but one of your student athletes are back. Is that right?
That's correct, and really happy about that. We've actually started the first group that came back were returning players, and they've been here a couple of weeks in terms of lifting with Coach Crane on a voluntary basis, and so they're down there 5 days a week in the weight room, and they're doing an incredible job cleaning the equipment after every time they use it, and then our they have a deep clean comes in at the end of the day, and so it's good because our guys really need to lift. And we did 3 months of really nothing. There wasn't anything we could do. The only thing that players did were on their own. And we have obviously our players find gyms to the best of their ability to play. These kids want to get in the gym and work on their game. It's good to have them back, though. We get to start working with them actually as coaches on the floor July 20th. So the 20th, we're allowed to get out 4 hours a week with them on the floor and start working on fundamentals, working on shooting, ball handling, whatever it is that we want to do. And there'll be a lot of fundamentals, basic stuff that we'll do. So it's really, we've lost a lot of the summer this year. Normally we start working with them on the floor June 1st. And it's just good to get them back, though, and get them in a routine here, being here. It's a little different in that nobody's here right now. And, we're going to be online for a second session of summer school for the entire team. So it's positive, though. That's trending in a good direction.
Darrell, how many of your student athletes are here right now?
None.
None.
Like I said, we have we have 9 on the roster this coming year, and one of those is American. We've got a couple in Spain, a couple in Canada, 2 in Greece, 1 in Israel, and we just signed a freshman from Paris, France. So they're all over the place. Yeah.
If any of you have been following the news, as we record this, it would have been over the last few days. You have seen those Adidas masks that Julie's talking about, and you likely saw them on the face of many of our head coaches, including Coach Howland, who was in Jackson to help lobby the state legislature for what turned into a successful vote to retire the state flag in Mississippi. And Coach, I'd be curious, what was that process like? Have you ever found yourself in a position where you've been a political lobbyist prior to this past weekend?
No, but I'm really pleased that the flag is going to be changed. I think it's something that's very positive for the state of Mississippi. I know it's positive from my standpoint for a lot of reasons. I think it's going to be great for our players. I think it's a great thing morally. I think it's great economically. And so I'm really pleased that it's been changed. And there was a lot of hard work behind the scenes to get that done. And I think it's great that, we are now joining the rest of the states in the country. And I think it's going to be a very good thing moving forward. And I'm happy for our baseball program and for our women's basketball program, among others, to be able to host events, tennis, in terms of we don't ever involved in that in men's basketball, but that's important that we keep those opportunities alive for all our teams.
Yeah, volleyball too. They can host opening rounds of regionals as well. So all of this opens up a lot more doors that were in danger of being closed, certainly, had the legislature not followed through. And again, a lot of folks from Mississippi State and other schools across this state that came together to help make this happen over the course of the past weekend.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Let's talk facilities a little bit, and some folks know about some of this. Women's tennis, along with the men's tennis team, were the newest to receive the indoor facility, the newest facility on campus. Darrell, I know we talked about this back, I guess, last fall when the construction process was going on. But what do you think about the new facility? And did you get a chance? Did your team to use it at all before all this stuff shut down?
Well, it's not finished yet. We're
still working on it. Okay.
Yeah, they're still working on it. We're very excited about the facility. It's been long overdue, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing place. So, I think when things started to shut down, they kept working on it, but they realized that we're not going to need it for a while. There won't be anybody around. We won't be doing camps. So I think they just kind of started taking their time a little bit, and which I hope translates to they do things right and they do a great job. So we did see it a couple weeks ago, and it's looking good. I think they're about to start putting the actual court surface on pretty soon.
Help people understand why an indoor, even in a state like Mississippi, where in the spring you have favorable weather for the outdoor season, why is that indoor facility so important for your program and for the men's program?
Well, obviously we play matches on the weekend, and if it rains, then we don't have a facility to play in. We're using 2 courts at the McCarthy gym. I don't know if people knew about that, but the old tin gym had 2 courts in there, and it was good to have, but it was very limiting. And we were all, pretty stressed when we were watching the weather for the weekend and saw a threat of rain or cold weather. So obviously for the matches on the weekends, it's going to be great, but even day-to-day practice, we were very limited with the facilities we had if it rained, or obviously if it was too cold, we went in there. That place wasn't heated, so and it was across campus, so the quality of life just day to day is gonna be so much better. And obviously from a competitive standpoint, we can play our matches. We can actually go indoors when it's cold or rainy, and in tennis you do have a lot of times you have a big home court advantage when you switch to indoors, so we'll be able to use that.
And I remember you telling the story when the construction was really at its very beginning. You came back from a road trip and there was steel coming out of the ground. And you said it almost brought you to tears to see it happen. I mean, this is a big deal for 2 programs that have done a great job of being nationally relevant, despite not having everything that a lot of your competitors have right now.
Yeah. It's going to be nice to have that that handicap taken away, and yeah, we're excited about it for sure.
The next project that is on the slate once indoor tennis is wrapped up is a renovation to Humphrey Coliseum. And Ben, tell me why that is such a big deal for your program. It's a great home court environment already, but to enhance that, what does it do for the program?
I think it really helps men's and women's basketball to put money back in the Hump. It is a great venue to watch games in. Every seat, I think, is a good seat in the house, which is unique. They did a great job, but they're going to add a lot of amenities to it. I think it's going to be a lot nicer. The concourse is going to be completely redone. There's going to be, a lot more space added in terms of new locker rooms. Like, for example, our trainers facilities that we use, the training room, really needs to be updated. It's very old and antiquated, so it'll be important to make improvements in those areas, which I think would be really good for the student athletes. They're going to add some restaurants, some points of purchase. They're actually going to add some like luxury box seating, which will hopefully raise revenue and become new revenue streams for the future, which will be great for the athletic program in general. And just make it nicer. I mean, it's going to be, I think, a beautiful facility. And, depending on how everything goes, hopefully it goes off on time and, it's able to happen here in the next few years.
And your guys just moved into it's in the same space, but you just renovated the locker room in the last year plus, right?
Yeah, we did some renovations, but, not massive like what we're talking about. I think it's going to be really incredible what they're going to do, what I've seen in terms of the drawings and the proposals. It's going to be very nice, and it's going to add office space for coaches. And I think it's just going to be a really nice improvement for everybody when it's done.
Julie, tell me what year 2 in the Gris has been like for you. You've had a couple of years to get used to that. And I think it's a really unique building when you look at it, a place that could create a really, really vital home court advantage for your team.
Yeah, I think everybody knows the acoustics in there aren't always great, but that's a good thing for our home court advantage when we've got good fans in there and good support. I think we're getting more comfortable on our court. I feel like a goal that we talk about a lot as a team is we want to be tough on our home court. So not a lot of teams can come in and just sweep us, but it's a slow, steady rebuild. I'll be honest. It's a slow process. And so going from one SECU into 2 in year 1 to year 2 is a huge step for our team, for our girls, for their confidence. But we love our gym. I think it's an incredible facility. We've been able to do a lot of really cool renovations over there that have been incredible for recruiting and for our student athletes. So I think we're continuing to pour into that building. We want to make it our own, make it special, and really just embrace the Gris. We really love that building.
As the newest coach in our panel today, what's the thing that maybe you're proudest of in your brief tenure so far leading the volleyball program?
The support from coaches, staff here, fans, everybody has been so supportive, and the fans want to be in those seats in the gym because they want to be there when we get to that point and kind of be along for the ride. And everybody's been that way. I've had really good conversations with coaches in our hallway over here in the Hump. I've had really good conversations with admin here. Everybody is super bought in and dedicated to volleyball getting on the map and us making a change here. So just feeling that support that even though, we're losing some 5-set battles, like we're in it and everybody's in it with us. Like we're not on our own. So it's been really nice to just feel so included from the start and just supported.
You were associate head coach at South Carolina, so you're familiar with SEC volleyball and you're familiar with the growth of the sport in this league. For a long time, it was the Pac and it was the Big Ten. Those were the two powerhouses, it felt like. How has volleyball changed in your time in the SEC now to where it's been elevated on that national stage?
I think just looking at our team camps, like in year 1, we had 10 teams sign up for team camp. And in year 2, we were sold out at 22 teams here. So it's definitely exploding in high schools. It's exploding in AAU and club volleyball. I think it's a fun, fast-paced sport that when you watch it, you can feel the energy in the stands from the court. So I think it's something that it's great for our young women to pick up and play. It's great if you're a dual sport athlete to try volleyball. There's a lot of skills and fundamentals that are similar to soccer, basketball that translate really well on the court, tennis with hand-eye coordination. So I think that we're just going to see more and more of our young women playing as all the high schools in Mississippi look to add another sport. So I'm really excited about it, but it could not be better for our recruiting in the Southeastern Conference that it's exploding like it is, because if we can recruit locally and keep the best kids in the state, then that's going to be a huge win for us.
Ben, you were part of an influx of coaches when you came to Mississippi State that really kind of turned SEC basketball back around and now have made this, as you like to tell people, I think the most competitive league, 1 through 14 in the country. What's it been like over the last couple of years in particular to see your guys be in the hunt, coming down the stretch to not only earn double byes in the tournament, but to get back in the NC2A tournament and accomplish all these wonderful things?
It's been great. And it was devastating for us not to be able to finish our season this year. That was just so gut-wrenching to work from June all the way to the middle of March. You know, we got a double bye. We were going to probably play Florida in the first round. I felt really good about our chances of winning that game and then having a chance to, hopefully play Kentucky and beat them and put ourselves in the NCAA tournament again for back-to-back years. We had, I was really proud of our team this year. Reggie Perry, who is, leaving to go to the NBA this year, will definitely be drafted. And Robert Woodard has still the option to come back or stay in. And he would most likely be drafted, but we want him to be a first rounder. He's waiting for more information. But we had a lot of positives about this past season that I'm so proud of. We won 11 of our last 14 conference games. Really did a nice job, as a team coming together, and we're poised to really do something special in postseason. So that was incredibly tough. This league keeps improving, keeps getting better. They keep adding new coaches that are really, really accomplished coaches. And SEC basketball is definitely on the rise. You look at all the different players being drafted from all the different teams within our league. We're represented each of the last 3 years in the NBA draft. And players are what make your conference. You got to have good players. I know I'm a much better coach when I've got, really good players to coach. And so that's the key. And that's why the facilities continue to build and improve on facilities throughout our conference, including here at Mississippi State. It's so important because it's about competition. Kids want to play in good facilities. And, we're excited about this coming season. Our guys, I think we're going to be good. And, again, it really comes down for us to Robert Woodard's back. I think we're going to really be a good team because he's a legitimate future NBA player.
And the calendar there has changed just like so many other things because all the uncertainty right now. But his deadline now to make a decision somewhere in August, is that right?
August 3rd is still the decision-making date for him. Originally, it was June 3rd because the draft has been moved back to the middle of October. They moved it to August 3rd to give them more time to gather more information. There's no workouts. There's no combine for the NBA, so it's not really a lot of feedback that he can get from these teams. If he's getting feedback, he's going to be a first rounder, he should go. Any player that I coach is told they're going to be in the first round needs to go to the NBA because it's, that's a great opportunity to get guaranteed money and reach a dream that every kid has growing up.
You mentioned Reggie, and, obviously a lot of people thought last year he had a great chance to be a first-round pick. And then I just saw Tyson Carter just in the last little bit as we record this, signed to play overseas in Europe. And he just seems like a guy watching him play that will thrive in that environment. You agree with that?
I do. He's going to go to Greece, which is high level Euro basketball. But Tyson does one thing as well as anybody in the world. He shoots it. And there's a place for guys who can shoot the ball from three. He had a phenomenal year, sixth man of the year award. Give me that trophy. I got the trophy just yesterday. And this thing is beautiful that Tyson got for the sixth man of the year, as voted by the coaches. This thing, he hasn't even seen it yet. I just got it yesterday. So I'm looking forward to giving this to him. This will be a really nice keepsake for him. But he had a phenomenal year. Really proud of him. And the way he went out, his last game as a Bulldog against Ole Miss, our arch rivals, to win that game by 25, and him to go out and kiss the middle of the floor right there where it says Mississippi State was really classy and something I think a lot of people that were witnessed that will always remember. And everybody, loves Tyson.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to say I just finished year 3 here, and that one will stick with me, I think, no matter how long I'm here. It was very emotional, and Richard Williams, of course, does the games with me. Richard coached Tyson's dad, Greg, when he played here, and not a very emotional guy, but it even got him a little bit when Tyson went out there. And, of course, Reggie got the great ovation when he left the game, too. It was a really, really special day at the Hump. And, again, we would like to see him play just a little bit longer, get in that SEC tournament, but things that were well beyond any of our control, kind of deciding that.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
Darrell, when you look at the landscape of women's tennis, tennis is a huge sport in the SEC. I don't know if people really understand that, but in your tenure here, how has that sport grown and taken on a bigger presence on the national stage?
Well, it's just always been strong. I came from the Big Ten, and they have, obviously some solid teams at the top, but like, just like basketball, from top to bottom, 1 to 14, it's the deepest conference, and always has some teams, I guess, contending for a national championship. It's just always been strong. It's always been, a big challenge. Obviously, when I got here 11 years ago, we were, I guess, a perennial kind of almost basement team, winning 1 or 2 SEC duels here and there, but you scratch and claw your way up to the middle of the pack in the SEC, and you're top 25 in the country and beyond, and that's kind of where we've been at. And we were, again, just like any of the other coaches who were in season in the spring, we were devastated when the season ended because we had some good momentum, and we beat Tennessee. We were 2-2 in the SEC. And had just beaten Tennessee, who was top 25, and lost a 4-3 to Vanderbilt, who was top 15. And we were excited about what we had ahead of us, and but we're excited about this year too. We've added a couple players, and we're going to try to scratch and claw our way up to the middle and beyond. And obviously a goal is always to make the tournament, but if you're in the middle of the pack in the SEC, you're definitely beyond that. So always a challenge. It keeps you on your toes. So
I'll show my ignorance here just a little bit too. I know that you said none of your student athletes are here right now because so many of them are international players, but are they in spots where, are there any tournaments or anything going on they can play in as amateurs right now, work on their game, anything like that for them?
All of our girls have found places to at least work out in the beginning. And then when clubs started opening, and even before they started opening, some of them had access to places where they could play. So our girls have done a great job. I always, from last year, I always said that the collective commitment from these girls is incredible, and it's very exciting. That if they're that committed, they're gonna make progress, and they're gonna we're gonna do good things. But they've been committed this summer, and they've been, I think, able to make the most of this whole thing.
Julie, what's the thing you're most excited about with regard to your team going forward for 2020?
I think our leadership is pretty spectacular this year. We have two captains who both didn't play last season, one due to injury, one due to transfer in conference. So they have great perspective. They have great appreciation for the game. They know that every time we get to play, it's a gift in itself, and they have great respect for the game. So I think they've done a good job leading the other student athletes on our team through all these tough times and this adversity. So I think I'm excited to watch these captains who have been off the court for so long finally be able to be on the court and lead their team on the court. But there's a lot of fresh faces with this group, and I'm excited to see kind of what we can put together and piece together for this season.
Ben, you kind of touched on it. You've got talent. If Robert winds up coming back even more so with your team, what's the thing you're most excited about as you head toward a new season?
Well, I'm excited for our returning players, number one, because they have the most experience. Abdul is going to be a senior, and I think Abdul will have a great senior campaign. He's very motivated. He's really working hard. We added another senior, a graduate transfer, in Jalen Johnson from Louisiana, who I think will give us some really positive play. And it's a good shooter, good scorer, good feel for the game. Has started about 80 games during his career, both at St. Louis and at Louisiana. And then I think Iverson Molinar is ready to take the next big step from his freshman year to his sophomore year. And that's usually when you see the biggest jump, in my opinion, is between that freshman and sophomore year, because he knows what it's about now. And I think that you'll see the same thing from DJ. DJ had a phenomenal freshman year, a redshirt freshman, so he's going into his third year now, even though he's only going to be a sophomore. I expect big things out of those two. I think that Tolu Smith, who sat out for us this year, has done a fantastic job improving and working at his game. He's a kid who's going to be a very, very big part of our future here in the basketball group at Mississippi State. He's a good player, great kid. And then we're adding a bunch of exciting new kids that are going to really help us. I'm excited about the incoming freshman point guard, Davon Smith. He's a top 35 player in the country, really, really talented. In fact, we were testing him for the first time yesterday, and he had a running vertical of 46.5 inches. Last year's 2019 NBA draft combine, that would be the highest of any player in that combine a year ago in the NBA. He has a standing vertical of 37 plus inches with no step. This guy is really a good athlete, explosive. And we've got some other kids. Cameron Matthews from Olive Branch, Keandre Montgomery from Forest Hill down near Jackson. We've got a kid from the Dominican Republic who played at the same high school as Abdul, Hamilton Heights in Tennessee. Anderson Garcia, who's going to really help us be a good player. We're adding Derek Fountain, who is a very good prospect out of Holly Springs, Mississippi. So I'm excited. And I can't wait to get Quentin Post back on campus and get him going as well. We just got to get him out of the Netherlands and back to the United States. So we've got a lot of excitement to look forward to. I'm really, really thrilled about the coming season. And obviously, Robert Woodard is a huge decision for both him and for us. And I love Robert. I think Robert will definitely be a kid that's going to play in the NBA. And I want him, just like I want every one of our players that gets to that level, to go in as a first rounder. Because the difference between, if you look at the numbers over the last 20 years, if you're a first round pick, you last 8 years on average in the NBA. Second round, 2.2 years. So it's a vast difference. And either way, we're blessed to have Robert. He had a tremendous sophomore campaign.
We talked a little bit, Darrell, earlier about some of the things that you're excited about for your program, including that new indoor facility that is going to get wrapped up here very soon. So let me take this question as we kind of draw to a close in this way. What would you want to say to the fans who are watching this right now, who are as starved for sports, starved for fandom, again, as all of us are to get back involved in all this? What would you say to Mississippi State fans?
Well, geez, I mean, we're with them. You know, we're all in the same boat together. I think everybody's just doing the best they can, and we all can't wait to get sports going again and get these kids back to school.
Julie, what would you say to the State fans watching today? What would your message be?
It's coming. Get ready.
Hey, I'm with you. I like it. Short and to the point. What about you, Coach Allen?
Well, I've slept in the same bed for 111 nights in a row now, which I haven't done since I'm in my early 20s. I can't wait to get back out on the road and recruit and get back to normal. And I heard Julie talk about human interaction. I mean, I can't wait to start coaching our guys here in July. So I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing our fans. Looking forward to people back in the hump again at games, and obviously at football games to start, off volleyball games. I can't wait for sports to start to happen again. I mean, it's coming. We're only basically 6-7 weeks away from starting school, so we're all thrilled and looking forward to getting back at it.
You know what I was looking forward to today, and it didn't come through? I quit shaving. I've shaved one day since all this happened, and that was the day that Nikki McCray-Penson was hired, because they asked me to do a coat and tie interview, and I thought, well, that's the appropriate thing to do. I just was hoping today when I got on here that I would see the Ben Howland from his days playing in Uruguay with the beard and the long hair. I was just waiting on that. I was hoping you'd come through for me on that one today.
Well, I could no longer, accommodate you with the hair, but I could go with a long, semi-gray, still have some red in it beard. And I look forward to that again someday.
A distinguished look. That's what it would be. A distinguished and wise look. Guys, thank you all so much for doing this. It's been a lot of fun. Very quick, 45 minutes. We are all with all of you that have joined us today, and that we want to see you again real soon. We're working toward it. As you can see, athletes from volleyball, men's basketball are back. They're doing their voluntary workouts. We're moving in that direction. So just stay in there with us. And again, hailstate.com. They haven't closed. They are wide open online. Any kind of information you want about your favorite Mississippi State programs, you'll find it right there. I encourage you to log on all of the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, the ones that I don't know about, they're out there too. Make sure that you follow your favorite teams there. You get all the information you need, latest stuff right to your favorite mobile device. And I invite you to join us again next week. We'll have a new panel of coaches. We'll have our third episode out of 4 of our virtual Road Dogs tour, and we'll talk more about how we've been getting through life with this pandemic, how we're moving toward new sports seasons, and so much more. For all of our coaches, Ben Howland, Darrell Greenan, Julie Darty-Dennis, I'm Neil Price. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with us today. We'll see you next week with another virtual Road Dogs tour.